under head coach Tom Penders. They will start like this. Let's take a look at the Ram starters. John Evans and Mergen Senior are at the forwards. The center, Bonzi Colson, 6'9" junior from Suitland, Maryland. First of all, let's talk about Senior, transfer from Seton Hall, and Evans, a 6'5" junior from Boston. The backcourt, something we touched about in the pregame, a very good backcourt. Carlton Owens, 6' senior from Brooklyn, all Atlantic 10 last year, averaging 22.9 points per game. And Tom Garrick, 6'2" senior from West Warwick, Rhode Island, averaging 19.6 points per game. For the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers under head coach Craig Littlepage, they will start at center Anthony Duckett, a 6'6" junior from Washington, D.C. Lee Perry and Steve Watson will start at the forwards. Watson, a 6'9" sophomore from Franklinville, New York. Perry, a 6'7" sophomore from Freehold. And in the backcourt, senior Darren Campbell, 6'5" out of Washington, D.C., averaging 10.3 points per game. And also, it'll be Craig Carter, 6'3" freshman from the Bronx, 12 steals per game. And that Tom Savage you have there on the starting lineup. Savage will be in the game. He'll play quite a bit. Right now, they're making a presentation at midcourt. And we're just about moments away from the tip-off here. Rhode Island coming in at 12 up and 2 down. We mentioned that outstanding road record. The home wins, only 3 games at home, all wins against Northeastern, Penn State, Providence at the Providence Civic Center. And, of course, Rutgers 3 up and 9 down on the year. They have lost 6 in a row and 0-5 in the Atlantic 10. Anthony Duckett getting an award before the game here. And Duckett has been playing very well, as we touched upon in the pregame.
Actually, he'd probably appreciate that award, but would like the award of the victory in this game.
And right now, the Rutgers Alumni Band on hand to play our national anthem. Dick, Rutgers 0-5 in the Atlantic 10. Obviously, they would like to get off of that slide here this afternoon and get that first conference victory.
Well, when you're struggling like Rutgers is, you need every single win that you can get, whether it's home, whether it's away, whether it's conference. You need a little bit of that confidence. The kids are hanging in there very well. They seem to be playing very hard. They just can't convert that hard playing to baskets. We didn't get a chance to talk too much about Tom Savage pregame, but you did mention as we started here, I think certainly he can be a key for them. Putting a lot of pressure on this guy who really hasn't played college ball other than a couple of games, but he has the potential to be that scorer that they're missing.
All right, I'll give you the starters one more time for Rhode Island. Evans and Senior at the forwards, Colson the center, and Owens and Garrick in the backcourt. As Rutgers comes out in their home white uniforms, the starting lineup a little bit different than the one given to me. It is Perry and Savage up front, Duckett the center, and it is Campbell and Carter in the backcourt. So Watson not in the starting lineup. And Rhode Island moving right to left on your screen. The Rams have the basketball. Outside, this is Carlton Owens, number 10, being played by Carter, excuse me. Garrick off of Owens. John Evans, good defense by Lee Perry. Colson, number 50, Carlton Owens. Good defense here by the Scarlet Knights as Rhode Island looks to get a shot off here. Owens drives, penetrates, puts it up short, rebound Rutgers. Duckett comes down with it, and the Scarlet Knights will bring it across. This is Craig Carter. Darren Campbell, bounce pass inside Perry, turnaround, good. Rutgers leads it by the score of 2-0.
Rutgers coming out playing man-to-man. The matchup that I think is a little tough is right here, and that is Carter on Owens. You have a senior for Rhode Island versus a freshman for Rutgers. Let's watch that matchup.
Evans took the shot short, and Rutgers comes down with the rebound again. Craig Carter, the freshman from the Bronx, dishes to Perry. Here is Darren Campbell, who has been playing well of late. Savage from the top of the key, doesn't go. Rhode Island quickly ahead. Underneath, shot put in off the boards. John Evans lays it in. Nice pass from Tom Garrick.
And that's a transition game we're talking about. Rhode Island won't wait. They'll push it down right away. Rutgers can't afford to have those kind of breakdowns. Give them that easy basket.
We're tied at a bucket apiece, just underway. First half. Craig Carter being played by Carlton Owens. Angles right, now in trouble. Outside Savage. Savage loses, but Perry saves. In the corner, double team. Back out to Carter. Savage fakes, outside Carter. Partially deflected, Duckett saves, passes back to Savage, lays it in. Basket, I don't believe will count. It's an offensive foul against Tom Savage.
That was a great move to the basket, but I think it was a good call. A little too aggressive. Defensive player had the position. He went right into him.
For Savage, his first, Rutgers' first team foul. Shot outside, good. Evans just inside the three-point line. 4-2 Rhode Island. Perry breaks the full court pressure. Here's Duckett, gets it back to Carter. Bounce pass, Savage in the corner. Fires, no good, off the back iron. Rebound, Rhode Island. Here come the Rams. Carlton Owens quickly across the midcourt line. In the corner for Garrick. Stops, pops, hits. Tom Garrick.
Tom Penders calls Tom Garrick his best all-round player, and he is an athlete. 6'2", good quickness.
And that full court pressure, Dick, causing the turnover as Lee Perry travels.
Tom Penders said, I want to put the pressure on right away. I'm not sure Rutgers hangs on to that ball well. I question their passing and shooting. I want to create some turnovers early.
Garrick moves towards the lane. Owens, baseline jumper, no good. Rebound knocked around, and Perry comes down with the board. Lee Perry averaging 5.3 caroms a game. Campbell for three, way off. And a rebound to Evans, quickly up court, fires for Garrick, and Campbell knocks it away. Good defensive play. Here's Carter with a 3-on-2, bounce past Duckett, who lays it up, no good. And Evans to Owens. Carlton Owens moves in the lane, penetrates, cannot hit, but Senior gets the rebound and lays it home.
And of course, this is a tempo that Rhode Island wants from one end to the other.
Dick, you took the words right out of my mouth. I was just about to say this is the type of game that Craig Littlepage certainly does not want.
He'd like to slow it down, I'm sure, make it a half-court game.
Carter penetrates to the foul line and draws the foul. Bonzi Coulson reaching in on Craig Carter. Rhode Island has jumped out to a 6-point lead. The Rams lead it by the score of 8-2 with 4 minutes gone by in this first half.
Some interesting matchups from Rhode Island's standpoint. As I was watching, Garrick is playing Savage.
Carter will trigger underneath the bucket. Inside, Perry with a beautiful reverse. Lee Perry. 8-4 Rhode Island. Carlton Owens to Garrick at the top of the, Evans at the top of the key. Coulson, baseline is good. Nice soft shot by the big man, Bonzi Coulson.
You have a tendency to concentrate on those guards and be aware of them, but if you sleep for a minute, Coulson can hit that jumper at about 8 feet also.
Campbell having some difficulty getting it across. Carter finally does. And Rhode Island on the foul. It'll be Mergen Sina reaching in.
Sina, a transfer from Seton Hall, had played at Seton Hall for 2 years before coming to Rhode Island.
Campbell, nice fake. Now jumps and good. Kissed it off the glass.
And Darren Campbell, Rutgers has a player that can score from the outside, and I'm sure the Page gives him a little bit more rain to take those outside shots.
Savage on the foul, reaching in against Sina. It's a 4-point Rhode Island lead. That's a second foul on Savage, and we will see Steve Watson for the first time this afternoon. There is Craig Littlepage, Rutgers head coach. His team is struggling. Carlton Owens wide open now, moves up a few steps and hits.
Rutgers zoning the out of bounds, just getting cut short then.
6-point Rhode Island lead. The Rams lead at 12-6. Watson loses the handle, but last touched by the Rams, John Evans. Lee Perry will throw inside court right in front of the Rhode Island bench. Campbell fakes the shot, brings it back out. Steve Watson with the basketball. Looks for some help, moves against Evans. Hits Campbell, top of the key, jumper good. Darren Campbell has found the range early.
If he can find that range, he can give Rutgers that offensive threat that they're so desperately looking for.
Rhode Island by 4. Inside Evans, nice pass into Colson, who lays it home.
That was a great move. They went inside, and when the help came over, Colson made a nice cut to the basket.
Off the steal, Owens. Carlton Owens will set it up. Evans inside, cannot hit. Sina rebounds and draws the foul.
That's really Sina's job inside. He doesn't really get involved in the offense in the sense that they're looking for him to score, but he does go to the boards very well.
And Mergen Sina at the foul line. He is not the best free throw shooter on this Rhode Island club, hitting only 59% from the stripe this year.
The scouting report calls Sina a good complementary player.
And you saw that 59% free throw percentage in evidence on that first free throw. Second on the way, and no good. Rebound, Duckett. Watson with an elbow, and they call traveling instead.
Well, Evans coming out playing Watson very tough. One of the problems with Steve is he's got great shooting ability, doesn't have great quickness. They're coming out trying to play him really tight.
Garrick, short off the front iron. Darren Campbell with the rebound. Rutgers playing fairly effective off the boards early. Perry pulls up for the baseline jumper, doesn't go, and the foul is on Rutgers. I believe it may be on Steve Watson. And it is Watson's second personal foul. There's a timeout on the floor. 13:39 remaining first half. The score, Rhode Island 14, Rutgers 8.
The color and excitement of college basketball's best stands out on ESPN. See more than 150 live NCAA basketball clashes, including more than a dozen conference championships and NCAA tournament action. Rivalries in the nation's most competitive conferences are intense, as ESPN features defending national champion Indiana and top-ranked teams every week through tournament time. NCAA basketball thrills stand out on ESPN.
Rutgers trailing Rhode Island by the score of 14-8. And Dick, you brought up an interesting point about Rutgers scoring. Darren Campbell has done a pretty good job so far shooting from the outside.
Right, and there's a player, too, we have to remember, redshirted, so didn't play at all last year. Back making a very good contribution this year. Got that great rebound just a few seconds ago before that timeout. And that's going to be important to Rutgers because Rhode Island isn't a great shooting club. They're shooting about 48%. Rutgers cannot afford to give them 2 and 3 attempts at. They missed that first one. Rutgers has got to control it on the boards.
Just saw Tom Penders, the head coach at Rhode Island, done a fabulous job with the Rams.
Good history. He's been at Tufts. He was at Columbia and then, of course, from Fordham, where he had a very successful program and now done a great job at Rhode Island. Player in his own right at Connecticut.
Shot outside good. It is Tom Garrick. Has that sweet shot from about 15 feet.
A really strong shot, too. He's what they referred to as an athlete.
Perry has it deflected by Coulson, and then Coulson with the steal.
Nice defensive change by Rhode Island. They come out in a little run and jump.
Oh, beautiful pass. Owens to Evans, and he lays it in.
The great alley-oop pass and a great athletic move by Evans.
Ball knocked away. Rhode Island has opened up a 10-point lead that quickly. Campbell hands to Carter, and Craig Carter, the freshman, will bring it up. Campbell covers up in the corner to Perry. Lee Perry moves baseline. Back outside to Carter.
Notice Rhode Island is staying with that little doubling up kind of defense.
Perry loses the handle. Coulson gets it up ahead to Evans. John Evans travels. No, he turned the ball over. Emery Ward, excuse me, Dick, comes into the game, and Lee Perry will sit down.
Just going to say they caught him in that. Sometimes you can get away with it, but he turned that hand over a little too much.
Ward, the 6'6" junior from Jersey City, second man off the bench for Craig Littlepage. Duckett. Campbell to Ward. Strong inside move, but misses the shot.
Very strong inside move. Even warded the players off with his left hand first.
Evans in the lane has it knocked away by Duckett, but the foul called on Anthony Duckett, reaching in.
Tony Duckett, ball for the foul.
Rhode Island staying with their game plan, and that game plan was to try to put pressure on, try to take advantage of what Rhode Island felt to be Rutgers' poor passing. They've switched now to that little run and jump defense where you think you're by your man, all of a sudden someone switches on you, and that's created a couple turnovers.
Mark Peterson in the game for the Scarlet Knights, and Duckett will take a rest. Owens sets up the Rhode Island offense. Inside shot short, partially deflected. Evans loses, and a good play by Watson to knock it away. And he will bring it across, up ahead to Ward. Here's Watson. Passes to Peterson. And the Knights looking to set up.
Evans putting a lot of pressure on Watson.
Up ahead, Carlton Owens catches up with the pass, and back outside, Garrick, who travels. Garrick tried to put a move on Watson, but shuffled his feet.
I was talking about Evans' defense on Watson. Watson, you can't give him very much room because he's got great range from the outside, so he's got to play him very tight. Does not want to give him the outside shot. Good scouting report on Rhode Island's part.
Up ahead to Watson, and Carter will set it up.
We see Cena playing Carter. That was a switch in that run and jump because he doesn't normally match up with Carter.
Watson, one-handed shot is good. Steve Watson, 18-10. It's an 8-point Rhode Island lead. Carlton Owens for three. In and out. Rebound Watson. And Rutgers has a chance to cut it to 6. Here's Carter with a bullet up ahead to Peterson, and Not a good pass by Craig Carter.
A little bit long for that bounce pass, but you can't fold him with his intensity, with the idea of pushing it down the floor a little bit, trying to make something happen.
Kenny Green into the game. Kenny Green off the bench, and a fine player to have come off the bench, Dick Lloyd.
Yeah, and Page has to make that change on his end of it too, pulling Watson out, putting Duckett back in. Tough player for Steve Watson to play. Kenny Green could be one of the best 6 players in the league. Now he's a 6 player for one reason only, and that's his bad knee. It's an arthritic knee. It's been operated on. He really can only play about 25 minutes per game because of that knee. And he's got great stats for 25 minutes per game.
12.9 average, 76% free throw shooter, hits the first. Green, a 6'7" sophomore out of Waterbury, Connecticut. Last year, the Atlantic 10 Freshman of the Year.
Really leading the team in rebounds and only playing 25 minutes a game.
Misses the second, but gets the rebound. Carlton Owens with a beautiful move and shot.
Great move. Went around the freshman there with a little fake and pulled up after one dribble and went up very strong.
Rhode Island has its biggest lead. They lead by 11. Carter pushes it up to Peterson, who moves in and draws the foul. And they will call the foul on Kenny Green. So Mark Peterson will be going to the line.
That's a big body to move in, and he covered a lot of territory with that one dribble there. I thought that whistle might have been calling a walk, but that's 240 pounds coming in there.
Peterson, a 6'9" senior, and as Dick just mentioned, 245 pounds. He's out of Oak Hill, West Virginia. Standing at the line. First, no good. Does not get the roll.
Mark got some playing time early. In fact, started, I believe, against the Greek national team, and then went back to the bench. Now Craig's gone back, giving him a little bit more playing time.
He misses both free throws, and Rhode Island comes quickly down court. And that's a poor foul by Mergen Sina, reaching in on Emery Ward in the backcourt.
Mergen has a big smile on his face. I'm not sure why, because you're right, that was not a smart foul.
That is a 4th team foul on Rhode Island. And Rutgers trying to find some offense here. The Scarlet Knights have not been able to score. Traveling called on Craig Carter. Cena out of the game, and David Burnsley, the freshman from Monroe, New York, into the game for Rhode Island. This is Owens across the midcourt line. Sets up against Carter. Tom Garrick. Owens fakes the three-pointer and pulls it back out. Now he'll take the three, short. And the rebound out to Rhode Island. Rutgers, though, Campbell with a nice effort. And tied up by the Rams. On the alternating possession, Rutgers will retain possession. Good effort.
Good hustle by Rutgers. Guard-oriented offense, obviously, by Rhode Island. They really looked for both Garrick and Owens, and that time they set a double screen, one to the right, one to the left for Owens. He had his choice which side he went to.
Ward loses the handle. Nice pass by Carter. Actually, a very well set up play. Ward was open underneath.
That's the unfortunate part of it. It was a nice cut because Ward was being pressured by that freshman, and once he gave up the ball, he just gave that give and go cut. Too bad he couldn't hang on to it.
Here's Kenny Green with a strong move. Doesn't go. And the foul on Rhode Island, I believe. It'll be called against Evans. And Rhode Island has cooled off considerably. It's been a while since the Rams have hit a field goal.
Rutgers done a nice job on that defensive board. Last couple times down, giving them that one shot. Full court pressure by Rhode Island.
Here's Carter. being pressured, double teamed. Campbell finds Perry. Perry in trouble and gets it across the Duckett. Carter, beautiful pass to Peterson, who Savage, excuse me, who cannot convert. The Rams come the other way, and Duckett, and the foul, I believe, is on, though they say jump ball. And possession will go to Rhode Island. A wild sequence.
Not a bad call, though. I think Dave Pollack saw that as the jump ball first, and then it just took both players down to the floor, the aggressiveness, but not a bad call. The defense we saw from Rhode Island last time, a little bit of a zone press. It's the first time they've shown that.
Here's Garrick for three. Doesn't go.
There's Rutgers again, that one shot. Savage getting the rebound.
Savage quickly up court. And a foul on Rhode Island. Burnsley.
And what can you say? Rutgers executed against that press. They took their time. They tried not to make the sloppy pass. Curry had three players on him here in the backcourt. Got rid of it. Gave the nice pass. Savage just could not convert with it. And that's really been the story of Rutgers' season. They're so close, but not quite there.
The execution there for Rutgers, as you mentioned, but not converting the field goals. Here's Perry. Campbell for three. Yes!
Talk about the execution, running their nice half-court offense, but look at Rhode Island now pushing it right back down again.
Owens does not get the shot to fall, and the Scarlet Knights the other way. Savage did a good job not to travel that time. Here's Campbell outside. Tom Savage for, nope, inside. Beautiful pass to Carter. And Rhode Island calls timeout. And the crowd here at the Athletic Center on its feet. A timeout on the court. 7 minutes, 33 seconds remaining first half. Rhode Island 21, Rutgers 15.
Next stop, George's Station Restaurant in the heart of Bound Brook. George's is your ticket to a great dining experience for the entire family. When you're thinking lunch, think George's for the freshest, best-tasting seafood, steaks, ribs, and chicken. When you're thinking dinner, think George's for the best in Italian specialties, sautéed French delights, or anything you desire. So hop the train or follow the tracks to George's Station Restaurant on Main Street in Bound Brook. Because when it comes to dining, if George can't make you happy, no one will. All aboard!
And the Rutgers crowd electrified off that nice pass by Tom Savage. Field goal percentage so far, Rutgers shooting well, 50%, and Rhode Island not shooting all that well, as I mentioned, tailing off at 39%.
That's where those rebounds have become a factor, and I don't mean to harp on that, but it's one thing that sticks in my mind here, that Rhode Island's been getting one shot. They're not shooting well, so they're missing that shot. Rutgers done a nice job of limiting them to one so they can get the ball, and that's what's allowed them to come back into the game.
Let's take a look at some of the execution that we had been talking about as far as Rutgers is concerned. Scarlet Knights have been passing the ball well, and you really didn't see it there.
Well, that was the case against that press where they got it down, but Tom Savage just could not convert on that, but it was well executed, and they just have to stay with that and figure eventually they're going to drop.
Foul underneath on Duckett in the lane. Tom Penders, there you see him calling that timeout, a good timeout by Penders, as Rutgers began to gain a little momentum. 17th foul on the Scarlet Knights, so they are over the limit now. And Rhode Island will be shooting. Kenny Green's on the line, 75% from the free throw line. Rhode Island as a team this year. And Green just about at that mark, 76% for him. He hits the first. He'll get another. It's a 7-point Rhode Island lead, and Green looks to make it 8 and does. No, they wave it off. Violation against Rhode Island, so that point does not count. 22-15, Rhode Island leads. Scarlet Knights look to get it in, and Savage Gives to Carter. Here's Perry. Up ahead, Duckett.
Almost that identical play we looked at before. Perry in the middle with it. 3 guys around him. Finds the open guy. They just didn't have the cutter open that time.
Knocked out by John Evans.
Rhode Island showing that zone press with good tenacity, good pressure, and then dropping back into man-to-man, keeping that pressure on also. They don't let up for a minute. Interesting matchup. Evans forward on Campbell, the guard.
Savage draws the foul. Tom Savage that time taking that shot, but not the best percentage. He had 2 men on him. Still drew the foul. Second foul for Kenny Green. Miles Dixon reports in the game for Rutgers. First time this afternoon. Craig Carter will sit down.
Miles has had some pretty good games of late. Again, a player that Craig went with earlier, and in fact last year started him some. Didn't quite produce the way he wanted him to. Set him back down the bench. He's hung in there. He's worked hard. He's obviously made the commitment to get him back in, and he's done some pretty fine work in the games I've seen him play.
Savage hit the first, and the second is good also. It's a 5-point Rhode Island lead, 22-17. Rams led by 10 at one point. Owens moves. 5-second violation. Good defense by Rutgers.
If you're closely guarded and dribbling the basketball, there's that 5-second count. If you stop, you have a new count. You have another 4 seconds.
Knocked away, saved by Perry. Dixon with a burst to the bucket. Great pass to Savage, who lays it in.
And Rutgers really gone to the board. Anthony Duckett was right up there, so if that was missed, he was going to get the tap in. Nice move by Dixon. He created that with his penetrating move.
Campbell with excellent hustle as he knocks the ball out of bounds.
You got to remember, this is a team that's won 3 games. They haven't won on the road. They haven't won in the conference, and yet they're playing really tough basketball. They have not given up on themselves.
Evans, Garrick, and the whistle. It'll be Duckett on the foul. Dick, let's take a look at that last Rutgers basket.
And here comes Dixon now. Look at that. Great penetration. Little jump stop to Savage coming in the other side. And that's the same angle Savage had against the press that he failed to convert. That time he went up strong and converted. Nice play.
Bonzi Colson to the line. He's the 6'9" junior out of Maryland. 69% from the free throw stripe.
That last foul hurt Rutgers. It gives Duckett 3 fouls. He's tough inside for him. Now he's on the bench. Picked up that foul trying to front that post player inside, coming over the top rather than playing behind him.
I mentioned Rhode Island not shooting well from the field. They're not shooting well from the free throw line either. Campbell loses the handle. And what a dive by Campbell. Rhode Island comes up with it, and Garrick lays it home.
That's what some people would describe as an athletic move. Great quickness, came out of there, tapped that ball, slid on the floor, still hung on to it.
24-19, the Rams by 5. Dixon looks for help, cross court. Campbell for 3. Yes!
Great look by Miles Dixon. You have a tendency to look very close to you, and the sag left that player open.
There was a buzzer, and I'm not exactly clear as to what happened, Dick.
I'm at a loss on that one, too. I know there's some subs waiting to come in, but they don't come in after a made basket.
Must have been a violation of some sort on Rhode Island. Rutgers with the basketball. Dixon travel.
Same kind of move. He made that penetration. He comes to a jump stop. Last time he came to that jump stop and dished it off. This time he came that little stutter move, and they caught him for the walk. but he's giving Rutgers a little more offense at the half court with that penetration that he's getting.
Well, it certainly is early, but right now we have ourselves a basketball game. Rhode Island leads by just 2, 24-22. Here is Owens for 3. No good. Rebound, Rhode Island. Garrick with that quickness pops short. And the foul on Rhode Island. I believe it's Kenny Green. That'll be the 7th team foul against Rhode Island. 3rd foul on Green. So he's in foul trouble.
Well, there's a case Rutgers allowed 2 shots at the basket. They still got away with it. The 2 shots were by their best offensive players, Owens and Garrick. I think the report on Owens being a scorer as compared with a shooter is pretty accurate. That jumper, while it's good, might be better than our jumper, Lou. He's not a great pure shooter. Good athlete, good offensive player.
Tom Savage hits the first. He has an opportunity to tie this game up. Rutgers has fought back from a 10-point deficit. And the second is on the way, and good. It's a tie ball game. We're tied at 24.
Mark of a good team, a mature team, is a team that can sustain it, and that's what Rutgers is going to have to sustain this performance.
Rhode Island having difficulty, but Dixon called on the foul. Good defense by the Knights as they blocked 2 shots in that sequence. Dixon called for the foul, as I mentioned. That's his first. And Darren Campbell comes back into the game. Miles Dixon will sit down. Tom Garrick will go to the line. Garrick, an excellent free throw shooter, 83% on the season. And he misses the first, and Savage cannot hold on as it goes out of bounds. There's a situation where Rutgers certainly would have wanted to take advantage of that opportunity. Garrick's not going to miss too many free throws.
You talked about the poor free throw shooting by Rhode Island, 30% so far in the game, 66% for Rutgers, which in itself is not good either, but 30% is very poor.
Colson from the baseline doesn't go, and Rhode Island is about as cold as it is outside right now.
Rutgers working hard on that defensive board again. Savage worked hard for that one.
And the crowd gets into it as Rutgers can take the lead on this possession. And the foul is on Mark Peterson. Or no, it's on, the foul is on Bonzie Colson. Bonzie Colson called for the foul.
I had the same thing you did there for a minute. I thought they did. It was an aggressive move by both of them. Peterson trying to post down inside, block him out. Davey Pollock saw Colson holding.
Peterson can give Rutgers the lead for the first time. Actually, the first time since they led 2-0 at the outset. His free throw is good, and Rutgers leads by the score of 25-24.
Peterson getting a lot of quality playing time here in this part of the game.
Second is on the way, and good.
And
Rutgers by 2.
And rising to the occasion.
3 minutes, 45 seconds remaining first half, and the Scarlet Knights are up by a bucket. Rhode Island looking to tie. And the foul outside is on Craig Carter. Josh Oppenheimer will go to the line. He's a freshman out of Los Angeles. Long way to Rhode Island.
Another freshman there, Steve Lane, number 12, Massachusetts Player of the Year. His dad's a coach. He was from Reading, Mass. Dad coached a neighboring high school. Tom Pender's very high on him.
And the free throw is no good. Perry with the rebound. I can't remember the last time Rhode Island hit a free throw. Campbell hands to Carter. Rutgers can go up by 4, which would be their largest lead. Here's Savage to Campbell. Carter. Plenty of time on the shot clock. Bounce pass to Carter, who moves in, lays it up, no good. And Coulson with the rebound. Here's Oppenheimer quickly up court for the Rhode Island Rams. Tom Garrick at the top of the key.
Garrick released on that, and they almost hit him.
Lane moving against Campbell. Bounce pass, Oppenheimer. Garrick is open, moves into the lane, puts it up, no good. Rebound, Peterson. Savage throws it away, trying to get Perry cutting towards the bucket.
Good idea. It's that tough pass. It's that bounce pass. That's a long bounce pass. It just doesn't come up as high as it has to. And of course, the offensive player is screening out, working very hard to hold his position, so he doesn't have a lot of mobility to go after it if it's off the mark.
You see Rutgers' record here at the Athletic Center. Been very successful over the years. Nice pass by Cena to Garrick, but again, Rhode Island cannot connect. That ball knocked out of bounds by Carter.
They worked that well to get it inside to Tom Garrick there. He had the nice little shot, tried to play it off the board and missed. Craig Carter tried to come down with that rebound, to limit to one shot. They're going to get their second attempt.
The Rams right now cannot buy a bucket. Here is Owens, who moves in, cannot score. Rebound, Rutgers. Campbell across the midcourt line, in the corner to Emery Ward.
Rutgers holding up. They had the odds that time, 3 against 2, but decided to play for the half-court game.
Campbell moves in, pops and hits.
And that was a very nice play, Lou. He worked the guy over in that corner, came in, another guy came to help. He went up very strong. That was a good athletic shot.
Under 2 minutes remaining first half, and Rutgers has its largest lead. The Knights lead by 4. Ward steals and hands to Perry. Perry to Peterson, who lays it up and draws the foul. Nice move by Mark Peterson.
Great move, a great strong move. He just didn't have a sense of where he was at that particular point to try to convert.
That's the third foul on Bonzi Coulson, and Rhode Island is beginning to rack up some fouls inside now.
And they're going to find themselves in trouble because they try to play a very aggressive game. That has a tendency to pick up the fouls, and if they lighten up that pressure, be against their game plan. And if they get in foul trouble, they're going to have to do that.
Mark Peterson, not regarded as the best free throw shooter on the team, but he has hit 3 in a row. And the second good. So make it 4 in a row for Peterson, and Rutgers leads by 6, 30-24. A minute and a half remaining first half. The chant goes up for defense. Here's Carlton Owens.
Afford to give Cena a little room out there because you know he won't take that long shot.
Coulson finally connects for Rhode Island. A nice pass from Evans. It's a 4-point Scarlet Knight lead as Carter brings it across with exactly 1 minute remaining in the first half.
Rutgers can't afford the turnover here. They've got to get a good shot at the basket.
Ward moves strong, lays it in off the glass.
Look at Rhode Island, though, in that transition. They're down on top of you right away. Owens already into the paint.
Evans. Beautiful pass. Cena lays it in. No offensive foul called against Rhode Island. It is John Evans who picks up the call. That's Evans' second personal foul.
I know, Lou, you got to give these Rutgers kids credit because it'd be very easy for them to hang their heads and listen to some of the things people are saying, but I'll tell you, they're out here playing tough basketball.
Mark Peterson again at the line. He's hit 4 in a row. He has an opportunity, if he hits both, to put Rutgers up by 8. 1-1, hits the first. And the Knights lead it by 7. Miles Dixon returns for Rutgers. And Darren Campbell, who has played very well, will sit down. And Peterson's second is no good as it rolls in and out. Dixon! Highway robbery underneath the basket.
Great play. I was handed that stat 5 for 7 on Peterson. I didn't want to jinx him. I held off, but it didn't work.
Here is Emery Ward. And the foul, offensive foul. No, they call it on Rhode Island. And it's called against Dennis Tabis.
That's 3 players now, with Cena picking up that foul. 3 players. Cena has 3, Evans has 3, and Kenny Green has 3 for Rhode Island.
All right, Emery Ward at the line, misses. Short off the front iron. And Rhode Island will look to cut it to 5. 10 seconds remain in this first half. Rutgers leads by 7, 33-26. Underneath. No good. Ward, and that'll do it. So we have come to the end of the first half of play. A standing ovation from the fans here at the Athletic Center. The halftime score, Rutgers 33, Rhode Island 26. Back with second half action in just a few moments.
I'm Tracy from TKR Cable's billing department with some tips to help us better serve you. First, to be sure your payment is correctly applied to your account, clearly write your full address and account number on all checks and money orders. Next, if you need to confirm your payment, please send us a copy of both front and back of your return check. When you mail in your payment, it will now go to a New Jersey bank for even faster processing. At TKR Cable, we're looking for better ways to serve you.
And welcome back to the Lewis Brown Athletic Center just moments before the start of the second half. Here you see the Scarlet Knight and the Rhode Island Ram in a little bit of a wrestling match, and that's pretty much what this basketball game is like. It has been up and down for both clubs, but right now Rutgers is up by the score of 33-26. And Dick Lloyd, let's take a look at some of the halftime statistics from the first half. You see Rutgers hasn't won an Atlantic 10 game since last February. In that first half, it was a very poor shooting half for Rhode Island, and it's illustrated right there.
Poor all the way around. Of course, from the field, 37%, very poor, and that is atrocious from the foul line at 27%. Rebounds, a big factor there, and we had talked about that before. The stat sheet I'm looking at talks about defensive rebounds, which I said was an important factor. Rutgers has 20 defensive rebounds.
Wow. All right, let's take a look at the individual scoring in the first half for Rhode Island. And the Rams, as we mentioned, really struggling from both the foul line and from the field. There you see it's pretty balanced. Coulson, Evans, and Garrick with 6 points. I think the key factor there, Carlton Owens with only 4 points.
Yeah, now they do have very balanced scoring anyway. They've got 4 guys in double figures. The 5th guy, Cena, is just short. He's at about 8.8. But Owens is not having a great game, having a little trouble with that outside shot.
And Rutgers, the Scarlet Knights getting a big first half from Darren Campbell hitting from the outside.
We talked about him being the offensive threat. I think Mark Peterson, 5 points by Mark Peterson, and I think he's taken up a lot of room inside and done a great job. But I think the story of that first half has been their defensive rebounding.
All right, Rutgers will have the basketball to begin the second half. The Scarlet Knights moving right to left on your screen. Carter puts it up. No, they wave it off. The foul before the shot. You saw Craig Littlepage. Has to be satisfied with that first half effort.
Well, so satisfied that he's sitting down. I haven't seen Craig sit down in a long time. I'm sure he is, and that was a great move to start out by Carter, too. Great penetrating move. He does that very well.
Perry finds Campbell. Three-pointer, no good. And the rebound to Rhode Island. The Rams will push it up the court. Here is Owens, who hands to Garrick. Garrick pulls up and hits the 19-foot jumper.
And both clubs coming right at it again. Not hesitating at all with the shots. Rhode Island putting that pressure on.
Rams with the steal. Owens bounce pass to Evans, puts it up and draws the foul. So Rhode Island has come out with the pressure and looking strong here now in the first minute of this second half.
Well, they did that in the first half also. Their game plan was to put the pressure on. They don't feel Rutgers passes well or shoots well, and they're going right with that game plan. The difference in the first half is Rutgers hung in there and came back strong.
John Evans at the line, 77% free throw shooter on the year, and he hits the first. That's a good sign for Tom Pender's club, because in the first half, as we mentioned, 25% from the charity stripe is not going to get it done. Second is on the way and no good. Peterson with the rebound. Rutgers leads by 4, 33-29. Craig Carter moves against Carlton Owens. Campbell to Carter in the corner. Tom Savage, nice move, goes baseline, pops, doesn't go, off the back rim, and the rebound to Rhode Island. Colson quickly ahead to Owens. Owens with a burst to the bucket and lays it in.
That's where you have to watch him. He's smart, he handles the ball very well. Rutgers wanting to get a timeout now to make that adjustment, not let him get another run at it.
Craig Littlepage signals for the timeout. There's a timeout on the floor. 18 minutes, 57 seconds remaining. Second half. The score, Rutgers 33, Rhode Island 31.
This is one of the most finely tuned machines in existence. Tinker with drugs, and you could leave it a wreck. This message has been brought to you by this station and the United States Marine Corps.
Back at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center, Lou Brogno along with Dick Lloyd. Dick, you were part of a very special ceremony at halftime, the retirement of famous number 12 for Phil the Thrill Sellers. Phil Sellers, Dick, for some of our viewers who may not have had the opportunity to see Phil play, what kind of player was he?
A great player. He's one of the truly great players that Rutgers had. Great quickness, a great athlete.
Pretty good athletes right there jumping around on the court.
And Sellers aptly named Phil the Thrill because he gave a lot of thrills. He was a good outside shooter, great quickness. Great player, one of Rutgers' greats. All-time leading scorer and rebounder here at Rutgers. It's kind of nice for me to be associated. I've been associated with 2 halftime ceremonies, 2 jersey retirements now with my brother, and then Phil, who played for me as a freshman. This is getting to be a habit, huh? I told you, as long as they don't call and tell me it's my retirement, I'll come to any retirement. The foul outside is on Evans, holding against Tom Savage. Rutgers now looking to get their offensive flow back, which they had for a good part of the first half. They have not scored yet. We played a minute and a half here in the second half. Inside, Peterson is grabbed before the shot. Mergen Sina on the foul. Kind of an awkward looking play. Well, he seems to get himself caught behind that basket a lot. You know, he's fighting for position, backing the guy up in there. But he's done pretty well. Don't forget, Duckett has 3 fouls, so Craig has to keep him on the bench a little bit yet. Peterson, a good substitute right now. Into Peterson, outside Savage. Campbell and Carter in the backcourt. Peterson at the center slot. And Perry and Savage up front for the Scarlet Knights. And Craig Littlepage standing up again. Campbell. Rhode Island done an awful lot of switching, so they change those matchups constantly. Peterson to Savage, who lays it in. Nice pass by Mark Peterson. Great play by Peterson. Rutgers record in the 70s. Traveling Great play by Craig Carter. He pulled a jump switch there. He jumped out as Garrick came behind to get that handoff. Tried to draw the foul, but he created the turnover by forcing Garrick to walk.
Here's Savage to Perry. It's a 4-point Rutgers lead, 35-31.
Darren Campbell looking for that shot, but Tom Garrick on him pretty tight and a little bit too far outside.
Perry, fall away, no good. And Rhode Island, Garrick, and tied up. It will be Rhode Island's ball in the alternating possession. And Garrick looked like a runaway train that time.
Well, it was a little bit of a trip, and that's a tough one because it was intentional or just accidental. So he tripped, lost control momentarily.
Here is Owens, angling left, and the foul on Carter, and Carter thought he had gotten all ball.
Well, that was unfortunate. I think he felt good that he stayed right with him, and he's actually forcing Owens to take a bad shot.
And Carlton Owens will go to the line. Owens, a 79% free throw shooter, averaging nearly 23 points a game coming in.
0 for 3 the first half from the line.
Hits the first. And the second is on the way and good. It's a 2-point Rutgers lead, 35-33.
Let me correct that stat. 0 for 3 from the three-point line, not the foul line.
Savage, and knocked out by Rhode Island. Garrick with the interception, took it out of bounds. We have an injured player down for Rutgers in the backcourt. It's Craig Carter. And it appears to be a problem with his leg. And they are checking on Craig Carter. I'm sure Craig Littlepage is unhappy about that circumstance.
Glenn Renolette, longtime trainer, looking at that right knee.
And they are attending to Mr. Carter. Carter, a freshman out of the Bronx, has played well this year. He's made some freshman mistakes, Dick, but I think that he has shown some excellent potential.
Well, I think what he's shown is there's a player who was a 31-plus scorer in high school, and yet he's showing the ability to try to be a leader out there and play that point guard where he can't just look for the offense. So that's a tough transition for a person to make. I think he's making it pretty well.
And they will attend to him on the bench. He's got off the court under his own power, so that's a positive sign. You see, last year, Rutgers lost the last meeting between these two clubs. Rutgers lost both meetings last year. Savage to Peterson, knocked away, and it's out of bounds. It'll be Rutgers ball.
Rutgers getting the break there. Just a little bit too much traffic for Savage to be dropping that off, and there were 3 players for Rhode Island, 1 player for Rutgers. The odds were they were going to get a hand on it. Tuck it back in, though, with 3 fouls. Going to have to be careful.
Here's Campbell. Savage. Bounce pass, Perry, turn around, no good. Rebound underneath Duckett. Knocked out of bounds by Rhode Island. So Rutgers retains possession.
Rutgers dominating the defensive boards first half with 20 rebounds. Offensively only had 3.
Miles Dixon looks to trigger. Finds Savage. Here is Campbell. 16.5 remaining second half. It's a 2-point Rutgers lead. Dixon loses. Here's a breakaway for Rhode Island. Carlton Owens lays it in. And we're tied. It's a tie game at 35. Rutgers has scored, but only 2 points here in the second half. Something to keep in mind. Dixon moving against Owens. Campbell outside.
Don't like that bounce pass guard to guard. A little bit slow and can be stolen easy, and Darren Campbell drove that baseline, definitely stepped on the end line. You
see Rutgers, how they're being outscored this season. They average only 59 0.3 points per game. And Rhode Island has an opportunity to regain the lead. Tom Garrick to Owens. Owens for three. Nope. It is a three-pointer for Carlton Owens. 38-35, and Rhode Island by 3. Here's Dixon in trouble. The foul in the backcourt is on Carlton Owens.
Putting a lot of pressure on Dixon, looking as a substitute coming in, so Rhode Island figures let's pressure him. Craig Littlepage trying to give him some encouragement out there, some instructions where the open players are.
Dixon gets it across, loses. There's another foul on Carlton Owens. He is not happy with the call. Some of the fans here looking for a technical on Mr. Owens.
Third foul on Carlton Owens, so that's the fourth player for Rhode Island that picks up their third foul. That could be a factor as we get down the wire.
Here's Dixon. Campbell fakes the three-pointer, moves in a few steps, pops, no good. Rebound, Rhode Island. Coulson to Owens. Across, knocked away by Duckett, and then out of bounds off of Rhode Island. Good hustle by Anthony Duckett.
Both officials had that call. Bobby Krasinski right there with the ball, and Davey Pollock the other end, both simultaneously pointing the same way.
Rutgers in a scoring drought here in the second half. The Knights have scored only 2 points. Savage into Duckett, and the whistle before the shot, and the foul on the Rams inside.
Rutgers running that offense have a little bit of a stack with the Darren Campbell up front at the point spot. The other players all stacked on the block, and they're obviously looking to get the ball inside.
Sixth team foul on a Rhode Island here in the second half. Rutgers has but only 2. That could be a factor. Offensive foul on Darren Campbell with the elbow. Gave an elbow to Carlton Owens. Owens went about 10 feet.
That pressure can really frustrate you. I mean, they're on you the whole game, and they're making it very tough.
Under 15 minutes remaining second half. Inside, Evans draws the foul. Over the back, it is Savage. Evans did not make the shot, but he will go to the line.
That's Tom Savage's third foul also, so Rutgers gets, I believe, their second player. Duckett also with 3 fouls. Tom has had a little trouble this year in the games he's been in with his foul situation. Plays very intense.
Duckett has been a sloppy second half, really, for both clubs. Neither team really into any kind of flow.
Well, Rhode Island being a little frustrated by the way they're shooting, trying to press their game. And, of course, the Rhode Island defense can make Rutgers look a little sloppy because they're constantly pressuring.
John Evans hits the first, and Rhode Island is up by 4. Second is on the way, and no good. Rebound, Rutgers. Duckett pulls it down, and Dixon will bring it across for the Scarlet Knights. Little hop by Miles. With 39-35.
With Tom Garrick picking him up at three-quarter court.
Savage moves baseline with a reverse. A strong move by Tom Savage. Owens from the foul line hits.
There hasn't been a move at the rack since maybe Phil the Thrill, that particular move, or Roy Hinson. That was a great move.
4-point Rhode Island in lead, 41-37. Dixon traveling.
What happened going back to that play by Tom Savage? That was created by Rhode Island's defense, that run and jump, because his man had come out to jump up on the player, driving, passed it off, and we'll get a look perhaps at Tommy Savage driving that baseline, coming up from behind the basket with 2 hands.
Let's watch.
There's a run and jump. You see his man left him, he drives the baseline. What a great play.
Meanwhile, the Rams in the forecourt. Garrick inside, that's traveling against Kenny Green, who's in there with 3 personal fouls.
Tried to get cute as he went through there, make that little fake on the pass, but he took a step, or at least convinced the official that he took the step.
All right, Perry gets it in to Craig Carter back in the game, and he appears to be back in form. Remember, hurt his leg a little bit earlier. Carter to Duckett, who lays it in. Nice pass by Craig Carter.
I really think that Rhode Island defense get him in a little bit of trouble, but it doesn't affect their transition game. But Rutgers gets a break, missing that layup. Evans was in front of the pack, but he just could not convert.
Excuse me, Dick, the Knights can tie. Carter fouled outside. No, I believe it's an offensive foul against Lee Perry.
They're calling Lee Perry for blocking, setting an illegal screen. Setting that screen on the player on the blind side, you have to make sure you're stopped so that he has a chance to take a step before contact is made.
Owens scores, and the basket is, yes, the basket is good, but it is an offensive foul against Carlton Owens.
And what's key about that, that's Carlton Owens' 4th foul.
So score the basket. It is 43-39. However, it is an offensive foul against Owens, and as Dick Lloyd just mentioned, Owens will have to sit down with 13 minutes remaining in this game.
And what's crucial about that, first half Owens had 4 points, second half 13 second half points. He's what's brought them back. He's obviously been their threat all season. That's going to be tough. And there's a look at it right there where he held his ground. He was set before Owens came in, and Owens on the follow through created that charge.
Duckett at the line. Hits the first.
A little dangerous for Duckett to be trying to draw that too, because he's got 3 fouls.
And the second is no good. The rebound to Coulson of Rhode Island. It's a 3-point Rhode Island Ram lead. They lead at 43-40. Garrick hits. Crowd calling for a traveling violation.
Much more of the responsibility falls to Tom Garrick now, with Owens on the bench.
Carter does get it across. In the corner, Savage. 5-point Rhode Island lead, 45-40. Campbell for 3. No good. Rebound tapped around Coulson, Rhode Island. Here comes Garrick. Evans from the foul line. Doesn't go. Rebound knocked around. Coulson saves. Good play by Bonzi Coulson.
There's one of those offensive rebounds Rutgers was getting the first half, not getting this half. And you see how important it is because it gives Rhode Island the second chance.
Lane took the shot, didn't go. And Carter will bring it across for Rutgers. 12:15 remaining second half. 45-40 Rhode Island. Carter looks to set up. Campbell to Duckett. Foul on Coulson, reaching in.
This is what they wanted on Garrick last time. It was really more like a high dribble, I think, than it was a palm that they're looking for. The palm, your hand has to be perpendicular to the floor.
All right, here is Anthony Duckett at the line. And he hits the first. Rutgers has shot fairly well from the free throw line in this game.
Tom Penders would like his players to be shooting that well also.
The crowd is yelling because they gave the point to Rhode Island on the scoreboard. And now they change it. Here is Garrick. Doesn't go. Rebound tapped around, and it's Campbell who pulls it back. 45-41. Carter in a little bit of trouble, and Garrick with the steal and the slam.
That's the freshman getting tripped by the senior. He just got a little too cute over there with his move instead of backing it off and just getting some room.
Carter does get it across, and a double dribble. So Craig Carter having some problems now.
Well, he's having some problems, obviously, because he's a freshman. There's some pressure. There's some good athletes out there playing him. And again, he's learning to play that role.
It's a 6-point Rhode Island lead, and the Rams can go up by 8, but Carter steals. Nice move in the lane, lays it up, no good. Rebound underneath, Perry lays it home.
Crucial offensive rebound by Lee Perry.
4-point Rhode Island lead, 47-43. Kicked by Perry. They may call a foul. It's against Rutgers. Carter comes out. He's hobbling a little bit. Actually, the foul was on Duckett, but Carter comes out. Carter really hobbling as he came out. Inside, Kenny Green scores. 49-43. The Rams by 6. Dixon has it stolen. Steve Lane lays it in.
All of a sudden, Rutgers having trouble with their point guards, bringing that ball up against pressure.
And Rutgers has called for a timeout. 10 minutes, 38 seconds remaining. Second half, the score, Rhode Island 51, Rutgers 43.
The Australian Open. Grand Slam excitement on ESPN. Last year, Stefan Edberg won it for the second time in a row, and Hannah Mandlikova picked up her 4th Grand Slam title. This year, a radically new surface could pave the way for Yvonne Lendl or Steffi Graf to win their first Australian Open crown. See the championship matches live, plus bonus semifinal coverage beginning Thursday, January 21st. The Australian Open, only on ESPN.
As we come back, Rhode Island has reeled off a 25-10 scoring advantage here in the second half, and they lead it 51-43. See, Rutgers hasn't won an Atlantic 10 game since February 25th of last year. It'll be difficult here today, obviously against one of the conference's better teams, but they have played a good ball game. Although the last few moments, Dick, Rutgers having problems getting the ball up court.
Yeah, now they've been playing a great first half. We looked at some of those stats and we said, can they sustain that? Because one half does not a game make. And looking at the stat of shooting, Rhode Island shooting 37%. You know they're not going to continue to do that, and they have not. Second half, they're shooting 63%. Rutgers went from 43% the first half to 42%.
All right, here is Dixon, who gets it across the midcourt line. Rutgers needs a bucket here. They trail by 8. Savage. Outside Campbell. Nice move. And cannot connect. Peterson underneath, lays it in.
Peterson giving Rutgers really his best game, certainly this year, if not the last couple of years.
51-45. Lane outside. This is Garrick. Evans, no good. Rebound, Ward.
And Peterson had a lot to do with that, too. I was going to say Rutgers doesn't have a real big man in there. A guy takes up room. You know, Duckett and Perry and Ward are great, and they're quick, and they leap. But Peterson gives them something they don't have. That's a big body inside to contend with.
Savage looks for the three-point shot and declines, and Campbell brings it back out.
Peterson's got to watch it now. Watch him here. He's trying to step in a little bit to set that screen.
Oh, great move by Dixon right down the lane.
Well, that's what happens with that offense. They're worried about the screen, and he went opposite the screen, right down the lane.
51-47. Rutgers back to within 4. 9.5 remaining. Garrick for 3. Yes. That three-point shot really changes things quickly, doesn't it? A 7-point Rhode Island lead, 54-47.
And I'm a big fan of the three-point clock and the 19-9 distance. I think it's great.
Beautiful play. Dixon to Ward.
And becoming a fan of Miles Dixon, too. 2 great plays.
54-49, Rhode Island. Garrick fakes the three-pointer, moves in and scores.
Great play. Look for that three-pointer. They came out to try and put some pressure on him right around to about 16. Stuck the nice jumper.
56-49, a 7-point Rhode Island lead, 8.5 remaining. Dixon hands to Campbell. Savage. Up to Ward. Nice move. Emery Ward with a strong move off the glass.
Great move. Didn't think he should have gone up with the two guys around him, but he proved me wrong.
Inside, Evans shovels to Green, lays it in, and draws the foul.
That was also a very nice move. Evans there, instead of trying to go up with a couple players, saw Colson coming down the lane. Excuse me, that was Kenny Green coming down the lane.
Let's take a look at some of the action just a few moments before.
And we'll get a look at the ball going inside. He could have gone up, but he sees Green coming right down the lane. Green went up with two hands, very strong on that one.
And there's a timeout on the floor. 8 minutes, 13 seconds remaining in this second half. Rhode Island 51, Rhode Island 58, Rutgers 51, excuse me.
Vermans of Bound Brook has everything you need for the complete treatment in interior decorating. Our consultants will assist you in every phase of decorating, from window treatments and wall coverings to selecting the right paints. Select vertical, mini, micro, or soft light blinds from Delmar. Delmar blinds, now in 237 new colors and styles, are now 50% off list price. Vermans of Bound Brook is your only store for savings. Visit 410 East Main Street or call 356-1309.
Back at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center, where Rutgers trails Rhode Island 58-51.
We looked at Carlton Owens' performance contrasting at first half and second half. Darren Campbell for Rutgers, 12 points in the first half. He's been shut out the second half, so he needs to get on track for Rutgers to come back.
There's Craig Littlepage. Right now his team is down, but I think overall has to be pleased with the effort today against one of the quality teams in the conference. Kenny Green trying to complete the three-point play, and he does. And Rhode Island leads by 8, 59-51, and Rutgers will bring it across. Here's Campbell. 8 minutes remaining now in the second half. Dixon bounce pass to Ward. Good aggressive defense by Rhode Island. Rutgers having some problems and thrown away.
New team in there now. Peterson out. Watson seeing some time. I think this might be the first time he's been in second half.
Cena, nice move, and he cannot hit the jumper. Duckett with the rebound, ahead to Dixon. Miles Dixon moves towards the paint, and now we'll bring it back out.
Looking to make his patented move right down the lane with that penetration again. Had second thoughts. Rutgers subbing Steve Watson in there, hoping he might be able to get hot, give him some outside firepower.
Knights really having problems, though, against this defense. Campbell for three, no good. Too hard off the back iron. And Rhode Island quickly up court. Garrick goes baseline. Campbell on the foul.
That happens so often at one end. The player misses a shot or has a little trouble, comes back the other end and fouls. That's his second. Rutgers with only Duckett with 4. Rhode Island, though, with Cena, Owens, and Colson all with 4.
Very quickly, Craig Littlepage makes some substitutions, and he's going to get Savage right back in there for Watson, and also Perry, who will come in for Darren Campbell.
Darren just having a little trouble getting on track. Watson, this is not the kind of club that Watson can do really well against, because they don't give you much room at all. He needs a little bit of room to get that shot off. If he gets that room, he can hit it.
Tom Garrick.
But I'm sure it was obvious to Craig Littlepage in that defense. He's not getting that room, and he can't afford to have a turnover.
Emery Ward back out. So now Rutgers in there with Duckett, Savage, Perry, Carter, and Dixon. Perry with the rebound. and Rutgers trails by 9, and the Scarlet Knights need a bucket here. 6:45 remaining second half. Carter looking for help. Savage goes down inside to duck it, and too many Rhode Island players there. Garrick with a hop and a skip. He pops and doesn't go. In and out. Rebound, duck it. Carter to Dixon. Dixon with a burst to the bucket, lays it up, and the foul will be on Rutgers.
That was too bad for Miles, too, because it was a nice play. Didn't quite have the odds, although it was a 2-on-2, and he made the judgment to go, and he went down the lane and got as close as he could get without running into the backboard. Just couldn't convert on it.
Mergen Cena at the line. Chris Whitman is into the game for the first time this afternoon. Chris Whitman, the 6'4" junior, college transfer out of Prospect, New York. And Carter will sit down. Here's Cena, only 2 points in the game. And he hits the free throw.
Craig Carter going out that time limped off the floor, so that knee or leg or whatever, and he's holding it right now, seems to be bothering him.
Second, good. It's a 10-point Rhode Island lead. This matches their largest lead, which they had in the first half.
Chris Whitman seen his first playing time in really a while. Started earlier in the year. Very steady player, but doesn't give Rutgers a lot of offense out there.
And Rutgers has called for a timeout. Craig Littlepage wants to talk things over. 6 minutes, 10 seconds remaining second half. Rhode Island 62, Rutgers 51.
This is one of the most finely tuned machines in existence. But tinker with drugs, and you could leave it a wreck. This message has been brought to you by this station and the United States Marine Corps.
It's been a tale of two very different halves here at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center. Rutgers playing very well in the first half, leading by 7 at halftime. In the second half, it's been all Rhode Island, really.
They are having a little bit of trouble this second half, and I was saying with 6:10 to go, down 11 points, they've got to make their run within the next couple of minutes. They've got to chip away at that. If they're not able to, Craig Littlepage is going to have his hands full, because if they come out and try and play him with the quickness Rhode Island has, that could open up the game.
Lee Perry at the foul line, moves in the paint, does not go. Rebound knocked out of bounds off of Rhode Island, last touched by Mergen Cena. And Dixon will trigger. Duckett, it is saved by Campbell. Nice play by Garrick. Here is Dixon, who brings it back out. Much to the dismay of the crowd, I might add. Dixon now with a burst, doesn't score. And Kenny Green with the rebound.
He has that nice move down the lane where he comes that little hop move. He comes to that jump stop and then takes off from it. Covers a lot of territory, but he couldn't convert it.
Garrick fouled at the baseline, and he'll go to the line. The foul, I believe, is on Campbell, although both Lee Perry and Darren Campbell were there. It is Lee Perry who picks up the foul.
Yeah, I think Darren Campbell was looking at him like, what are you doing here? That's my man. I got everything under control. I didn't need you to come over, and if you're going to come over, please come over with your hands straight up.
All right, Tom Garrick at the line, hits the first. Tom Savage looking to come back into the game for Rutgers. And he will, replacing Lee Perry. And Garrick's second is good. Rhode Island has its largest lead of the game. The Rams lead it by 13, 64-51.
And part of that reason Rhode Island's made that run, Lou, 77% second half foul shooting versus 25% the first half, and Rutgers just the other way, 69% first half, only able to convert half their foul shots in the second half.
The foul is on Rhode Island outside. Savage being hammered by both Evans and Garrick. And it is on Garrick. That's only his first personal in the game.
And considering the kind of defense they're playing, which is very aggressive, some run and jump out there, picking them up full court, gives you an idea of his athletic ability.
Tom Savage is at the line, and he will shoot 1 and 1. Hits the first. 64-52. An 11-point Rhode Island lead. Carlton Owens back into the game. Here is Garrick. Tried to put a move on against Perry. Carlton Owens fires up a wild baseline shot that goes in.
Great move, and that started out there with Carlton Owens just pushing Miles Dixon's hand away and then took him down the baseline. I thought Miles was with him too, but he went up very strong and was able to get around him.
And Owens leering out at Dixon after he made that shot. Here's Campbell, who steps on the end line. And the Knights having some problems now, obviously offensively, and, well, some humor at the game. And now, some pushing on the court.
John Koskinen, who's down there talking with Kenny Green, and I think he's going to have it. I don't know whether he has to change his mind now, but I think he's going to have a technical foul on Darren Campbell.
And on Kenny Green.
Now Johnny's saying, take it easy, Dave. I got this one. I was right on top of the play. Let me call it.
There's Craig Littlepage.
John Koskinen saying to Kenny, just relax. I got it for you. What will be interesting is whether they have to go back with Green too. You always tell your players, you know, let them stick it in your face, do what they want to you. Don't you react, because so many times the official only catches your reaction. And Darren kind of threw the ball at Green. Koskinen saw it, was calling the technical foul, but no one heard his whistle, and Green ran after Campbell and handed him the ball back.
And Craig Littlepage talking to Darren Campbell and Anthony Duckett. I believe it's been double technical fouls. And they say not on Campbell, they say Lee Perry and Kenny Green. I'm sure it was Campbell.
It was, there's no question about that. And they did have to turn around and give Green the technical also.
In fact, Lee Perry is asking the referee, me? Was it me? And it was Campbell on the technical foul. They make the correction now.
And they had explained to both Tom Penders and Craig Littlepage what they had to call.
And now Savage will shoot the technical. And he cannot connect. So Rhode Island makes out on that one. 67-53.
Three basketball playing officials out there. Let's see if we can get a look at what happens down here. Well, this is the follow-up. This is the second part of it that we are seeing with Kenny Green after Darren had given it to him, and in his face, he's coming back saying, here, you want the ball.
All right, Rhode Island has the basketball as Rutgers turned it over. 4.5 remaining, and Rhode Island in good shape. They lead by 14, which is their biggest lead. 67-53. Kenny Green doesn't go. Dixon with the rebound. Duckett lays it in. Nice pass from Tom Savage.
Good pass. Even with the weak side help, he was able to get around that and go up for the 2 points.
67-55 Rhode Island. 3:50 remaining.
Tom Penders now with 3 guards in there with Lane, Owens, and Garrick, figuring that he wants to handle that ball, doesn't want to have a turnover.
Nice play. And the foul, I believe, is on Carlton Owens.
Which will be his 5th if it is. I think it is. It's the identical play from last time.
The basket is good, but Owens has fouled out. Carlton Owens is gone.
He made that same play in the first half, you remember, when he drove down the lane. I think it was Anthony Duckett, and I believe it was the first half that stepped in and drew it also.
Tom Savage will shoot 1 and 1. It's a 14-point Rhode Island lead. Mergen Sina is back into the game for the Rhode Island Rams. So it's Lane and Garrick at the guards now for Rhode Island.
So much for the 3-guard offense that didn't last very long.
Savage gets the roll on the first. And every free throw crucial now for Rutgers if the Knights want to have any chance of coming back. Second, good also. 69-57. It's a 12-point Rhode Island lead with 3:40 remaining. Garrick pops and hits.
Matchup is interesting there with Perry playing Garrick.
Dixon 1 on 4. Shoots and then gets his rebound and lays it in.
Stayed in there nicely. And at this point, he probably has to go 1 on 4 with a 59-71 ball game, just about 3 minutes left.
Backcourt against Rhode Island.
Well, they called that backcourt because they said that the player touched it in the front court when they were kind of fighting over it right there at the center court line. That made it in the front court, and as soon as he let it go, it was in the back court.
Big possession here for Rutgers. The Knights looking to cut it to 10. 71-59. Savage in trouble. Finds Duckett, who lays it up and draws the foul.
Great move by Duckett there, and they had to get that offense going. They can't afford 2:49 now. They can't afford to waste much time in getting it up. Dropped it in very nicely. Went up strong, did the little double pump. He needs to convert on those. Easy for me to say sitting up here, but I'm sure Craig would say the same thing with this score. It'd be nice to convert on those, but it was a great move.
And Duckett, I don't know if he lost something or there's some fans who are extremely interested in the game. What are these guys? What are these guys doing? Here's Duckett.
Actually, I think they were checking to find out what time the broadcast of this game will be on TKR.
Well, that's all right then. Duckett, second shot, good. 71-61.
Did you get the names of those 2 people?
Here is Lane, and the foul is on Rutgers underneath. Rutgers fans not real thrilled with the call. Miles Dixon called for the personal. It's his 3rd. And Steve Lane, the freshman guard, is at the line. Now, what is this? This is a interesting situation. This might be an intentional foul, which will give Lane 2 shots and also give Rhode Island the ball.
That's what it is. I read Dave Pollock's lips. It was intentional. New this year. Great, I think a great rule change. 2 shots in the ball.
And he gets the roll on the first. And the second, good also. So he hits both, and now Rhode Island will also get the ball. This is a critical blow to Rutgers. It could be a 4-point swing. Kenny Green will inbound, and he finds Lane. 2:35 remaining, second half. It's a 12-point Rhode Island lead. And the foul against Rhode Island. Rutgers will come back the other way and shoot. And Tom Pender is not happy about that. And if you're a coach, Dick, that's probably got to be one of the worst situations when you have the lead. You're stopping the clock and giving the other team the opportunity to score.
Right, very aggravating. And of course that clock moves slowly anyway, and you want it to keep going, eat up as much time as you can. With the shot clock now, you only have 45 seconds maximum. You want to take advantage of as much as that as you can. John Evans fouls. He picks up his fourth also in that situation.
Darren Campbell at the line, and his first is in. Not emphatically, but it did roll.
Darren Campbell's first point this half.
Second, good. 73-63. 2.5 remaining. Here's Lane. And the interception by Savage, who loses to Garrick. A scramble out of bounds. Last touch by Rhode Island. Watson back into the game as Craig Littlepage looks to get some offense.
Down the offensive end, he puts in the offensive player.
Dixon, Savage. Moves and draws the foul outside on Garrick.
Was a great move, quick first step. Got hit as he took that first step.
Now Rutgers has an opportunity to cut it to 8. Anthony Duckett back in for Watson. Savage with 14 points in the game. Very important free throws right here. And he hits the first. He'll get another. Savage, a pretty good free throw shooter.
Pretty good high school player at Ewing High School, two-time All-Stater, transferred from Virginia Tech, and I think it's going to be a real good one for Rutgers.
Second good as well. 73-65. Dixon steals and travels. Lost the handle.
Great effort. It got caught, I think, in Darren Campbell's feet there. It was a shame, both going for it. Press is being fairly effective here.
And a timeout on the floor. 2 minutes, 9 seconds remaining, second half. Rhode Island 73, Rutgers 65.
Next stop, George's Station Restaurant in the heart of Bound Brook. George's is your ticket to a great dining experience for the entire family. When you're thinking lunch, think George's for the freshest, best-tasting seafood, steaks, ribs, and chicken. When you're thinking dinner, think George's for the best in Italian specialties, sautéed French delights, or anything you desire. So hop the train or follow the tracks to George's Station Restaurant on Main Street in Bound Brook. Because when it comes to dining, if George can't make you happy, no one will. All aboard!
Back here at the Lewis Brown Athletic Center, the crowd once again back into the game as Rutgers has made a little mini comeback, and they trail Rhode Island by 8 points with 2 minutes and 9 seconds remaining. And Dick, is that enough time for the Knights to come back here?
It could be if that press is effective the rest of the way as it has been so far. Now, obviously, that's why the timeout was called, try to make some adjustments against that press. The scouting report says they handle pressure well. Hasn't shown that this part of the game.
All right, Kenny Green looks the trigger, and Garrett goes up to get it. He stops, pulls up, brings it out. Here's Lane. And Pender's strategy here, I guess, keep the ball in the hands of the people who can shoot the free throws. Campbell called for the foul. The crowd doesn't like the call, and it is a questionable call because he went for the ball, and it was more like the Rhode Island player fell over Campbell.
Well, you had a situation there when you fall, it's got to be a walk. If you call the walk, why did he walk? It's because the player, you know, kind of took his legs out from under him. You obviously can't play in that kind of position, lay on the floor. That was a tough call.
All right, Garrick is on the line, 1-1. As I mentioned earlier, a great free throw shooter, 83% on the season. He's not the man you want there if you're Rutgers, and he hits the first. A 9-point Rhode Island lead. Let's watch the foul again.
He dives for the ball, falls on the floor. Guess you could have let that go because he was dribbling the ball, but
it's a 10-point Rhode Island Ram lead, 75-65, and Rutgers is going to have to do some quick scoring here. Here's Savage, outside Campbell for three. In and out, rebound, Duckett to Watson, puts it up and in.
That's why Watson's in there, and it was a great effort on the board by Duckett also, and a good shot by Campbell.
8-point game, 75-67, a minute and a half remaining. Garrick, Lane. Ideally, Rhode Island would like, Rutgers would like to foul Cena. That's a 2-point foul. Shot foul, excuse me.
I don't think they're going to call it that way.
No?
But yes, he is.
Yeah, Watson, just as I was mentioning, that's the man they want to foul, Cena. Watson must have heard me because he went over and gave a forearm to Cena, which planted him on his rear. And it is a 2-point, a 2-shot foul and possession for Rhode Island. Cena only shooting 59% from the line, and he hits the first.
Always works that way. You foul the guy you want to foul. The stats say you should foul, and he usually steps to the line and puts it in. And that was Watson's 4th foul.
And the second is on the way, and good. He hits both.
So much for statistics.
Well, it happens every time. 77-67, Rhode Island by 10, but the big factor is that the Rams have the basketball. Garrick to Evans, still with the ball. Campbell fouls Garrick. And that's nearly an automatic 2 points for Rhode Island.
Of course, that's why Rhode Island is running that delay game where they're keeping the ball in your foul shooter's hands.
And some of the fans beginning to file out here at the Athletic Center, but in all fairness, they saw a pretty good ball game. Rutgers will probably lose this game, but the Knights played well against one of the better teams in the conference. Certainly one of the 2 best teams. Rhode Island's only loss coming to Temple in the conference, and they will have a rematch against the Owls later on this season.
At Rhode Island.
At Rhode Island, that's correct. It was a 9-point loss in Philadelphia, which, all things considering, isn't really that bad. Right here, it's a 12-point Rhode Island lead. And there, as Dixon scores, their road magic will continue. They have played exceptionally well on the road. 58 seconds remaining, timeout. We'll keep it right here with 58 seconds remaining. Let's talk a little bit about these 2 ball clubs now, Dick. And we'll do that after. We'll take a timeout, and then we'll talk about it. 58 seconds remaining. Rhode Island leads 79-69.
Vermins of Bound Brook has everything you need for the complete treatment in interior decorating. Our consultants will assist you in every phase of decorating, from window treatments and wall coverings to selecting the right paints. Select vertical, mini, micro, or soft light blinds from Delmar. Delmar blinds, now in 237 new colors and styles, are now 50% off list price. Vermins of Bound Brook is your only store for savings. Visit 410 East Main Street or call 356-1309.
Welcome back to the Athletic Center as Rhode Island leads by 10, 79-69. The Rams will throw in underneath the Rutgers basket. Here is Garrick, and he is fouled in the backcourt, and he will go to the line. Well, it gives us an opportunity to talk about some of the things I was mentioning before the break. Rhode Island will go to 13-2, a 10-2 record on the road, and they just have played exceptional ball. They have some big wins this year, Dick, over Virginia, Providence, St. Joseph's. They have played good basketball.
I think they're definitely a good basketball team. There's no question about that. And they stay on the road, I believe, and I believe going down to play GW.
Right.
So when they finally get that stretch at home, that's going to make them even that much stronger. And with those points, I guess Garrick is now up to 29.
Dixon fires, doesn't go. And up ahead to Evans, who will be fouled underneath the basket. Savage with the foul. Stops the clock with 45 seconds, 81-69, and this game may get out of hand here the last few minutes. People will look at the newspaper tomorrow and they'll say, wow, Rhode Island beat up on Rutgers, but it really wasn't that way.
Well, second half, Rhode Island seemed to control it, but they could never put it away. Rutgers would not quit, kept coming back at them, but as we said earlier, they just didn't quite have enough to sustain it.
As we mentioned, Rhode Island will go to 13-2 as Evans goes to the line. Last year, we mentioned the turnaround in the pregame, 8-19 2 years ago, 20-10 last year. However, Rhode Island disappointed in the fact that they did not get an NCAA bid last year. They got an NIT bid, which is fine, of course, and well-deserved, but I think the Rams are shooting for that NCAA bid this year. And if they continue to play this way, they're in pretty good shape. First free throw, no good by John Evans.
Looking at Rutgers' schedule, Rutgers having a difficult time on the road, just the opposite of Rhode Island. They've got to go up to Massachusetts, not a fun place to play. That'll be tough for them. Then come home against a good Virginia Commonwealth team, then away again against St. Joe's. They have some tough ones coming out.
Dixon drives, Ward follows and scores. And Green and Ward banging each other. Actually, Dixon and Green banging each other underneath the boards. 37 seconds remaining, 82-71. We will be back here at the Athletic Center in a few weeks for a Scarlet Knight game. Rutgers, Temple, well, most experts would feel the top team in the Atlantic 10 Conference, certainly one of the top teams in the nation.
Right, and I think moved all the way up to about 4th or 5th ranking now, being one of the few undefeated teams remaining. Rutgers called that timeout, but didn't actually take it.
Here's Lane.
Stop the clock, sorry.
To Evans, 30 seconds remaining, and they foul. 1-1, Evans will go to the line. Rutgers' next game, as you mentioned, they have a week off, so kind of rare to have a week off in the middle of January, but indeed that's the way the schedule works out, as they will take on Massachusetts next week. You mentioned the Minutemen, a very tough ball club to play up there at the Curry-Hicks cage.
Rutgers with that monkey on their back of not being able to get a road win, just compounds going up there.
And Rutgers will drop to 3-10 with this loss. They'll lose their 7th in a row and will be 0-6 in the Atlantic 10 Conference. First free throw good. Interesting point about today's game is the fact that statistically, Rutgers has been a better second half team this year, but not today.
If they could have put the same second half together as they had the first half, they'd have been in control all the way.
And the fact that they played such a good first half, looking at that statistic at halftime, I even thought to myself, well, you know, if Rutgers continues the trend and plays good in the second half as they have all year, they should be in good shape, but it just wasn't to be, as Rhode Island will come away with the win. It is a 13-point game. Lane still has the basketball. Now he turns it over.
He says he hit me.
Doesn't really matter at this point. 7 seconds remaining. Emory Ward will throw in. Here's Dixon. Off his foot. Retains. 3 seconds, 2, 1. And that'll do it. So, a win for Rhode Island as the Rams defeat Rutgers by the score of 84-71. And Dick Lloyd very quickly, again, a better effort for the Knights, but still not the W.
Well, I think you just touched on it there at the very end. The consistency, that's what Rutgers has not been all season, either as a team or with individual players. That is usually the mark of a young basketball team, and they are a little bit young. I think each game they're improving a little bit. I'm impressed by the way they hang in there. They did play, as you pointed out, a very good Rhode Island club and made them work to get that victory.
And Rhode Island, on the other hand, showed some poise because they did not play well in the first half, and yet they came back.
And they have to be showing poise to have the kind of road record that they have. So they're a team that's to be contended with not only in the Atlantic 10, but I'm sure in the postseason tournaments.
All right, our next Scarlet Knight game will be against Temple on February 6th. The Lady Knights in action against Maryland right here on TKR Cable on the last weekend of January. So I want to thank you very much for joining us. For Dick Lloyd and the rest of the TKR Cable Sports crew, I'm Lou Brogno. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Once again, your final score, Rhode Island 84, Rutgers 71.